Okay, hello everyone, and this will be another tutorial video about lightning build in the game Tale of Immortal. Thank you very much for your likes and comments and subscribers from my previous commented videos, and I really appreciate it. And so I would like to make a series of commented videos about just to explain how different elements, different builds in this game works. And I probably won't do it for every single element because I'm not familiar with every single of them. Like, I don't know mostly about like water or wind, how does they work. However, I would like to make some commented ones about some builds which I like. And I choose lightning as my first choice, not only because lightning is really a powerful build, but also because it's a very complete one. What does that mean? It means that the mechanism of lightning is complete, and so that I can use this as example to explain some general ideas about how general builds works in this game. And also lightning have this speciality, and that is something that if you do not know, then when you are playing lightning, and if you know it and you play lightning, the experience can be very, very different. Of course, all this is, and this will be disclaimer for all my commented videos, that all of this will only sort of make a difference or meaningful when you are playing chaos mode, when the game difficulty is more difficult. If you are playing in normal, which is completely fine, and to experience the game, the plot and everything, then you can probably just use any skills. It doesn't really make too much difference. But in chaos, if you want to make your character powerful enough, you might find this video helpful to make your lightning build stronger. Alright, let's cut the crap. Let's see what's this character here. I'm equipping lightning 4 skills. Spiritual one, special one, motion one, and the ultimate one. So also you might already find in my channel page there are several builds about lightning, like lightning sword, lightning fist, lightning blade, and I call all of them lightning build, and I will explain you why. So no matter what spiritual or martial skills you use, as long as you are using the lightning special skill, and you are making the mind skills works with the lightning build, you are using a lightning build. And this is because, so here there are 6 different special skills. So that's something which is in general for every element. For every element, you always have 3 martial or spiritual skills and 6 special skills. You have 1 motion skill and you have 2 ultimate. So what's special about lightning is that no matter which one you are looking at, all of them, you will find this 1 special sub-skill. In this case, if you look at the 4th one, so I changed the rarity of this sub-skill to red so that you can find it more clearly. And we put it here, right? So there are like 3 red sub-skills here. One is cooldown, one is duration, but there's another one which is for every 70 times you deal damage, you will trigger a lightning bolt. And lightning bolt is the one most important thing about lightning build. Every single thing in this video we talk about is built around lightning bolt. And what is lightning bolt? You can see on the right side in-game, there's an in-game description here. So lightning bolt basically unleashes lightning bolt toward the enemy, 6 to 8, and each will deal damage. And you can see that the special skill itself deals like 2500 per second damage, but lightning bolt itself will deal 2700 to 5000 damage. So itself is really good, damage thing that you got this extra damage from lightning bolt. That's not only thing. Another important thing is in the mind skills. When you look at secret menu, so secret menu is a type of mind skill that increases your spiritual resistance. But as I mentioned in my previous video, that spiritual resistance is not the most important thing here. In fact, for different elements, you will find different sub-skills here. Some of them are kind of common, which are the ones marked in the orange ones here. But for lightning, there's one in the red, the first one. Every time you trigger a lightning bolt, it will increase your damage by 1.8%. and this lasts for 60 seconds. This means what? So every you deal 70 times the damage, you trigger one lightning bolt, and your damage will be increased higher. And this damage is every single attack from your character, not only lightning bolt itself. And including everything, even, for example, the heavenly skills. And that means sometimes when you are casting a heavenly skill at the end of this 1 minute time limit, you can immediately kill one heavenly immortal. And this is because when you are built lightning build correctly, you will attack very fast, and you trigger a lightning bolt all the time. Like every second you trigger a lightning bolt, that's 60 times in 1 minute, and that if you multiply 1.8% every single time, so multiply by 1.018, at the end of the 60 seconds you can have 3 times more damage compared to initially. And that's what makes lightning powerful, because you have this damage amplification there. Now, this is why we want to build our character around this effect, lightning bolt. And I would like to just to show you how does lightning bolt looks like. You might never see how does it look. So in this case, yeah, my character is attacking this spike. So now, if you look at the target, there is this vertical line, lightning hitting. That is lightning bolt. Each time I apply a lightning bolt here, your damage will increase. Alright, so now let's get out of here. So, since lightning bolt is the most important thing about this build, so the next thing to do is how do we trigger lightning bolt more easily? And to do that, you need a mind skill, which is mastery again. You need lightning mastery, and you need this sub skill, the first one in red. To trigger a lightning bolt requires number of times you deal damage minus 42 times. This means instead of 70 attacks you trigger lightning bolt, you only need 28. This itself will make triggering lightning bolt much easier. Another thing you want in order to increase your attack frequency is a rewrite destiny. And this one is called Supernova Sword. This is a special rewrite destiny that you can reliably get even in chaos, because this one you get by finishing a secret sect quest line. So you can trigger this quest line as soon as you enter the Immortal region. So I think that's the third region. Yeah, the third main region. And you will get a hint about secret sects exists. Then you can go into any dungeon, find a special room, and you just continue the quest line. It will take quite a long time. But at some point you are asked to explore a ice cave in the north, and then you will be attacked by a monster. It's a difficult fight, and also the fight hint is that the fight will become more difficult if you go back when you are at higher realms. For example, you might be thinking, I can't do it at nothing, so maybe let me go to enlightenment and try to do it. But then you will find the monster also get more difficult. So that's why you want to finish that quest as early as possible. And once you kill this monster, you can give the item to the Taoist Pavilion. And as a reward, you will get this as your destiny. So what does this destiny do? It will summon 7 flying swords around yourself character and shooting out flying swords. So the damage this flying sword deal is very small, like 300. That's nothing when you have like 1 billion life boss waiting for you. But each attack counts as 1 attack. And you're attacking so fast, which means as soon as you have Supernova Sword, you just need to cast special skill, and you can easily trigger lightning bolt all the time. So with a lightning, that basically is, with this thing and with the lightning secret manual, mastery, and special skill, you are already set for a basic lightning build. And yeah, actually this Supernova Sword is something you cannot miss because it's very fancy effect. So just for the fancy effect, you might want to take it as well, but for other builds as well, but it's just not that useful compared to a lightning one. Okay, let's see. So this will, Supernova Sword and Mastery will make your trigger lightning bolt even faster so that your damage got amplified faster. But for a better lightning build, you also want to equip a lightning ultimate. So as I said before, each element always have two different type of ultimate skills. And for lightning, there is lightning retribution and thunderous punishment. And I will always recommend thunderous punishment as your ultimate skill. And this is for two reasons. One is for lightning retribution, you need to have insta skills in order to trigger it. If you do not have the destiny which allows you to, use your ultimate at the beginning of the battle. And when you are dealing with only a boss, you won't get insta kill that easily. It basically means you can almost never trigger the precondition to use the ultimate. But for Thunder's punishment, the precondition is to trigger 2 times lightning bolt. And if you have, listened what I said in this video and set up your character properly, you will trigger your lightning bolt within 2 seconds of time. And you can almost immediately use your ult. And what does this ultimate do? So if you look at the last few red sub-skills here, so apart from duration and cooldown ones, the last 2 sub-skills shows that for the duration of this ultimate skill, the lightning bolt's maximum number of targets will become 7, and its maximum power will become 1852. There's a mistake here. You are not becoming 7 from 6 to 8, and you are not becoming 1000 from 2000, because that will be a downgrade. Who would like that? So what it actually do is add 7 targets and add 1852 to the damage. This is a problem when you're playing a game in early access. There are many these kind of tiny mistakes, and the development team are just too busy to fix it. But you get the idea. It's good because not only it makes the number of targets almost doubled, it also increases your maximum power of your lightning bolt. And as I mentioned before, lightning bolt itself not only is useful to increase your damage, but themselves are very good damage source as well. So for a proper lightning build, with or without ult activated, your damage is completely different. Now, there is only one situation you want to use lightning retribution. That's kind of the only advantage of this automation is that the duration is longer. So the natural duration, lightning lasts 22 seconds. And if you add the duration to 4 seconds, it becomes 26. So from 60 seconds, if you have a cooldown reduction for your ultimate in your mastery, if you have blood power, these can be easily reduced to around 26 seconds. You can have this lightning retribution out on all the time, and you only want this when you are using Thunder Tamer mode. So that's a set which I will mention at the end of this video. So that's the only situation you want this. Otherwise, always use Thunder's punishment, because there are so many advantages. It is easy to trigger, it will hit enemy, and lightning retribution will sometimes hit yourself when there's no enemy, which is pretty dumb. And also, even the damage it increased to the last sub-skill. For example, here is 1852, that's maximum value. But if you look at lightning retribution, the damage increase only 267. That's nothing compared to that. So yeah, so the ultimate and several mind skill before, you are really good. You are in a very good state of lightning build. And now, next question is, what about spiritual skill and motion skill? And why you call, when I'm using not lightning, but when I'm using a moon shadow sword, I can still call myself as lightning sword. And how does that work? Or the more basic question, why do you even want the same element of your spiritual skill and special skill? And to answer this question, we need to go back to some of the very basic mechanism of how build works in this game, which is something that you might miss if you are not playing Chaos. So when you look at any of the spiritual skill, if you look at the third, or the fourth one in this case, sub-skill, it says that upon hitting an enemy, it always have a chance to apply a stack of, in this case, chaotic lightning on the target. So chaotic lightning is a debuff, which does something to the target. And if sometimes you do not have this, for example, if you are using a different one. For example, here, upon hitting enemy, it has percent of chance to grant you a stack of Lightning Surge. A Lightning Surge is a buff to yourself, which also does something. As I said, so this is the case, the same case for every single element in this game. This martial or spiritual skill will always either apply a buff to yourself or apply a debuff to the enemy. And if you look at the special skills, they are, no matter 6 of them, any of them, each of them will correspond to either a buff or a debuff. For example, here, you can see on the right side, it corresponds to Chaotic Lightning, Lightning Surge, Chaotic Lightning, Lightning Surge, Chaotic Lightning, Lightning Surge. So they are all associated with either a buff or a debuff. And depending on what kind of skill you have, and depending on what kind of buff debuff it does, it will do different things. And that's why you usually want the same elements of your left mouse button attack and your special skill, because this will make it a complete set. Your normal attack applies the buff, your right mouse button attack release the buff. And as for example, here, when I'm using Dashing Lightning, and if you look at one of the orange subskills here, if you have at least 5 stacks of Lightning Surge on yourself, the cooldown of spiritual skill will reduce 26%. Well, the maximum I think around 30% if you actually have everything comprehended to red. And so that you apply, when you use the normal attack, you apply Lightning Surge to yourself, you have 5 stacks, and then you use this one, your attack will be faster. And many times this is the most important thing how abuse works, especially for sword, because sword many times, no matter buff or debuff, when you trigger it, will reduce your motion skill cooldown. And that's how, fire sword, water sword, wind sword, all these things works. And for lightning, this is time I would like to introduce you what are the different special skills and how do they, work with either the buff or the debuff, and what are the ones I recommend. And since this will be a tutorial video, I will also showcase every single one. No, not you. Sorry. So, Thundercool. This is probably the first special skill you can learn. Wait, let me do one thing. I forgot to... Let me switch off the auto attack so that you can see more clearly. Yeah, this is what does it do. It just releases a series of lightning around yourself. It's a one-time attack. You only get fully effective when you are really close to target. Not super great. It works with Chaotic Lightning because each time, for every stack of Chaotic Lightning, you will deal more damage. Not super fancy. Alright, next one. Oh god, every time I have to choose a filter again. Dashing Lightning, and this works with Lightning Surge. This one is special because not only when you have Lightning Surge, it will reduce the cooldown of spiritual skills, but also if you look at the next sub-skill, when you cast this skill, when there's only one enemy, you automatically receive 5 stacks of Lightning Surge. And then you will consume all of them to unleash more lightning. So, which means that you don't really need a normal attack with lightning to apply the Lightning Surge to yourself, because you cast it, you apply Lightning Surge to yourself, and then you consume all of them. So you already automatically have a faster attack. Like that. This is why in my Lightning Blade video you see that I'm using Dashing Lightning, because I just want to increase my attack speed. So I think that's the only use of this one. And the next one is actually the one I recommend the most, which is Lightning Cloud. Lightning Cloud have this thing, first of all, it does not consume any debuff, in this case Chaotic Lightning. So for every stack of Chaotic Lightning has, it will deal more damage, 10% more damage. And if you are at Transcendent stage, so when you look at my special skill, it says that the effect lasts 7 seconds and stacks up to 7 times. And within this sub-skill with skill itself, you can see that you can increase the maximum attack 3 times. 7 plus 3 equal to 10. And in every single mind skill of Secret Menu, you can have another maximum stack plus 3 for, in this case, Chaotic Lightning. The sub-skill can appear for buff or debuff, so not only for debuff, just I make it to be like this. So that makes it 13, and finally, if we go to Artifact Spirit,
想知道为什么我的耳朵可以动来动去？
Here.
难道你的不可以吗？
When you have Mengyi and you have all her talents, on the left one attack, you will increase another 3 stacks, which makes the maximum stack 16. And that means that I can, every time, if I attack this, you can see that there is this little icon on top of target, which says 16. That's 16 stacks of Chaotic Lightning, and then if I apply a Lightning Cloud, the damage will be 2.6 times higher. This itself is already really good, and also because it does not consume all those debuffs, so you can always have 2.6 times higher damage. Alright. And next one is Dark Lightning. Not recommended. Let me directly say that. First of all, it works with Lightning Surge. I think for every single stack of Lightning Surge, it will increase the duration. And what does it do is just, summons a lightning ball and attacks the enemy. Within it, there's really nothing special. It does have this effect that when you have 3 stacks of Lightning Surge, you will reduce the cooldown and a bit more, but unlike Dashing Lightning, you cannot automatically apply yourself 5 stacks of Lightning Surge. So it means it's nothing special and just pretty normal. And I think that's almost there. What's the next one? Okay, Lightning Crash. Actually a very interesting one. And if you have watched my previous video about 0 cooldown special skills, this is the only skill in Lightning can reach 0 cooldown. Okay, as you can see, first of all, I don't think my character here is set up in the correct way to have 0 CD, but you can see the idea here. I almost have very short. But as I mentioned in that video as well, you can only hit the target like with 2 lightning circles at the same time. So even if you have 0 CD, it's not super good. But if you want to play a 0 CD lightning build, this is your only choice. Finally, which is a good one, that is Spiritual Lightning. This is one which actually is useful, and this is because, so what does it do? First of all, it summons this lightning ball and it will bounce between you and the target. What makes it good is like here. If you look at one of the red sub-skills, so the H1 here, when there's only one enemy, after every bounce, your attack will increase 42 for 10 seconds. And when you have very short cooldown of this skill, you keep on casting it and you stand very close to the target. The bouncing is very fast and your attack just increases all the time, which is of course really good. But one thing I'm not exactly sure is, does this attack increase apply to all your damages, or it only applies to the special skill? Because I heard from somewhere that it only applies to your special skill, and if that is the case, then it just becomes much worse. But otherwise, it's a really good one. Okay, so I think that's all the special skills about lightning. And as I mentioned, if you are using lightning, a chaotic lightning, as a left mouse skill, use lightning cloud, or in general just use lightning cloud. It's good in every single way. And otherwise, if you want to use a lightning surge one, you can also use spiritual lightning, and it's good in its own way, especially if the attack increase applied to everything, then it's probably the best. And next, I want just to showcase the 3 different type of spiritual skills. So Volt Shot is the first one, and okay, let me toggle back on my auto attack. Volt Shot is the one you kind of the first one you learn in the very beginning of the game, and I agree it is very bad in the very beginning of the game because you only have like 2 lightning bolts running around. It's super slow as well, but it becomes better and better in the later part, and as you can see at this time there are like 10 lightning bolts and they are rotating, so it actually applies the best damage in the later part of the game. Instead, in the early game you might want to use this one, so Lightning Flash. So I think the better name for this is Lightning Whip, because that's what exactly does it do. It, casting a lightning whip hits the target. It's simple and slow but powerful, so it's really good at the early stage, but it sort of fall out of its favor maybe around Golden Core-ish. After that you might switch to Volt Shot. And next one, right, is Purple Lightning. This is one not much special, not as good as Volt Shot in the late game, not as good as Lightning Whip in the early game. But what does it? It's one thing special is that it can, bouncing around between different targets and different enemies, and so it's really good for clearing mobs. However, Lightning is already one of the best elements to killing mobs, especially when you have Lightning Cloud as your special skill. So yeah. Anyways, so that's how Lightning in general works. You have spiritual skill applies buff or debuff, then you have the special skill to release the buff or deal more damage according to the buff or debuff. And the reason why sometimes we don't need to use special skill is it's a motion skill. This is the same for every single build in the game, that motion skill, when you cast it, normally it will grant you some stacks of buff and place some stack of debuff, as you can see the red ones, 2 sub-skills here. But what's special about Lightning one is that when you look at the orange one, when you cast this skill, you will leave behind a ball of lightning. And as long as this ball of lightning keeps on attacking your enemy, it will always put the chaotic lightning debuff on the enemy. And that is really good because that means that you do not really need to use a spiritual skill to apply the debuff. Because without these balls, these 6 stacks of debuff will not last super long. Even originally the base number is 7 seconds, and even if you have from mind skills to add another 10 seconds, it's not too long. But as long as your ball is keep on attacking, and when you keep on casting your motion skill to leave the balls attack the enemy, you always have the chaotic lightning on your enemy, and that is quite good. Alright, let me toggle this thing off again and to show this. Now keep attention on what is on this. Alright, now I cast my motion skill. The balls keep on attacking, and you can see there are 7 stacks on this. I'm not at casting again, at 16 stacks. 15, casting again, 16 again. So it's 10 because the previous initial 5 stacks just vanished. But you can always, by casting the motion skill all the time, you can always have a high stack chaotic lightning and increase the damage of your lightning cloud. And you don't really need to use your left mouse key attack to apply the debuff there. And I think that is all the 4 different skills. Now talk about mind skills. As I mentioned before, you need Lightning Secret Menu, you need Lightning Mastery because of the sub skills, and you don't really need Lightning Divine Power. That is another good thing. You can use either Sword Divine Power to reduce the cooldown of your special skill, or you can use the best one in this version, which is a Fist one. Come on. Which increase your crit damage rate, and that is really good. Because Lightning Divine Power doesn't have anything special. Yeah, you can see it here. It has martial resistance, and you have the standard thing about increasing your attack. And one thing special is, for example, it will increase the chance of your insta kill, but who cares about that? So you don't need to use Lightning Divine Power, which is actually an advantage that you can use a better one like Fist. Now, okay, one thing about Lightning is, alright, yes. So a guide. The guide is type of mind skill which increases energy. And so for every single build, you probably always want the first sub skill here, that for every enemy you use cut skills, you will receive 5 shield points. And you might see in many of my videos, I will always have this sub skill in your guide, because that means you can cast a skill, generate a shield, and the next attack, no matter how many shield points you have, no matter how big damage you will receive, one attack will be cancelled by the shield. You have only 5 shield points and receive 1 million attack damage in one attack, and that will cancel it out. But now, another important thing for lightning is the last one. So every time a lightning bolt triggers by you hit enemy, your energy will be restored by 83. And as you know that when you are properly set up, you are triggering lightning bolt all the time, and your energy will keep on being restored. And this is not only useful for to recover your MP, but with this, with a correct set of artifacts, with Muqing, with this talent, which means that every time you recover the energy, you will also recover vitality. So, which means you recover your HP as well. Now, with this goes with 9成. With this talent, every time you recover vitality, you will increase your crit damage rate. So you see that with that sub-skill, you will recover MP, HP, and crit rate. It's really great. And of course, in your Sutra mind skill, you want this lightning bolt triggered, you will recover your vitality as well. By doing this, you will recover your vitality in 2 different ways. And of course, if you still feel it's unsafe, you can always have blood power that will convert damage to vitality. And since we are here, I will talk about what are the destinies you want with the lightning build. So you always want Supernova Sword. That is one of the key ones you should have over time. And because, as I mentioned, it's very easy to trigger your ultimate if you are using the correct one, you do not need combat expertise unless you want to use Thunder Tamer mode and you want to use Lightning Retribution. But then you always have Murderous Rites, which is the best attack destiny. And you probably always want Concealed Nirvana, which is the best defense destiny. You can use the Blood Energy, which is quite good. I mean, there are 2 videos in my channel which showcase that, builds with Blood Energy, but you don't need to have them. Otherwise, you can use something else. Now, for the soul, Jiaolong is always good. I think that, in general, just really good. At increasing attack, increases your damage or special skills. And for Reborn Birds, I actually recommend Bluebird, because it makes your attack really fast. As you probably see that you want very fast attack to trigger Lightning Bolt. And damage does not matter that much. And in fact, because you can actually increase the damage as well in those bonus stats. So it's 65% damage. Sounds scary, but it's actually good. Another thing about Bluebird is actually good for a summon build. And when you are at Transcendent, when the set effect, you can become a summon build. And now let's see. So I didn't equip everything here, but if you want to see how does it work, you can always see there are 2 videos about Eternity Rover builds in my channel. I will put the link in the description as well. What does this set effect do is basically if you equip 2 sets, every time you're casting special skill, you can summon a lightning beast. And if you have 4 set every time lightning beast dies, which means that if you already have 5 beasts on the ground and you cast your special skill again, one of them will die. And when they die, it casts your special skills again at 30% damage, but that basically means Spirit Fusion. And yeah, since I already showcased that, but I have 2 sets right now just to show you again. I use this, and this is a lightning beast. It will attack, and most importantly, when you are in high difficulty, it will attract bosses attack as well, so make you become even safer. And you can see I'm increasing 83%, 83, recovering 83 energy all the time, because every single time a lightning bolt strikes, I will recover some MP. Okay, another set effect is Thunder Tamer, and that is even better in a way. Let me put on this, and I want to showcase this again, even though you can see it. And now we want the secret menu, and we want the mastery. No, now we don't want fist, we want the sword one. So what does Thunder Tamer 4 sets do? No, why this is this like it? Oh, sorry, this is the correct one. Okay, the Thunder Tamer 2 set will grant you a dodge effect attempt when you casting a motion skill, and 4 sets will reduce the cooldown with motion skill 80%, which is really good because motion skills initially you have 13.3 seconds, minus 3 second cooldown by itself become 10, and 80% makes 10 into 2 seconds. And you always have, you can have another cooldown from motion skill. The maximum should be 25%. I chose it to be, orange because I want to show the color contrast so that you can find the most important sub skills immediately. So this is not optimized, but otherwise it will. In reality, you want to comprehend everything to red, of course. So I have another 25%, then I have blood power in this character. So another minus 20%. And of course, I have Wandering Cloud, another 10%. So which already make my, CD of this motion skill very short. But notice that this will only work when your ultimate is on. So right now, I cast it, it's 6 seconds. But when, I need to trigger. Alright, now I can trigger use my ultimate, and you see that it's 1 second. And because, notice that every time I cast my motion skill, my special skill CD recovers back. And this is coming from a Sword Divine Power. So Sword Divine Power have this thing that every time you cast a motion skill, it reduces cooldown with special skill 6 seconds. Which means combine this 4 set Thunder Tamer and the Sword Divine Power, you have 1 second cooldown of both your motion skill and your special skill. So you have very high DPS, and also you have a dodge effect after every 1 second. And if you have a better Divine Power, which grants you the sub skill that reduce your damage received by 80% after casting motion skill, you are basically invisible. And yeah, I think that would be everything about Lightning build, and I hope this video is helpful. And if you want some tutorials about different elements in this game, please leave a comment, and I will see your comment and try to see what will be my next video. And yeah, if you like this video, please consider leave a like or subscribe, and leave some comments. And thank you very much, and see you next time.